Hi, my darlings. I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're reacting to episode 8 of season 1 of Demon Slayer. Last episode, we got to see Muzan. Hopefully, I'm not butchering that. I did look up a pronunciation because I'm horrendous with them. So I was trying my best to find one, and it said Muzan, like moo as in moo, and then Zan's like Muzan. So I'm like, hopefully that is correct. Last episode was incredibly interesting. We have met Muzan in person now, and what I really love about the show is that it is very different to kind of what I expected. We obviously knew about this big evil figure that's turning humans into demons, and he's set up to be the antagonist. But I thought it would be more long drawn, that like we wouldn't see him, that we would kind of go on this like adventure of trying to chase him down, trying to track him down, and then he eludes us at every corner. But straight up in episode 7, Tanjiro is face to face with him and is close to confronting him, but he can't because he has a family and he's carrying an innocent girl. And then he pulls the ultimate power play move in turning a boy that's walking past him into a demon, meaning Tanjiro has to then focus on this now freshly turned demon. He can't attack Muzan because there's no reason for him to do so. He can't sit and say, "Oh, well, believe he's a demon," when there's an actual demon attacking people that you can see. So it's the ultimate power play of like, you can't do anything, Tanjiro. You can stand there, you know who I am, I know that you know, but you can't actually touch me right now. So I'm going to stand here in broad daylight in front of all these people, and you're not going to be able to do a thing to stop me. It's insane. So it makes me wonder if he's going to be like the antagonist throughout the series, and that they get close, but every time he kind of just slips through the net. But it kind of is setting up that there may be more than one antagonist, that he is the ultimate evil, but there may be others that are just as bad as he is, or maybe slightly less evil, but still dangerous, that Tanjiro has to turn his focus on. But it's definitely not played out how I anticipated it to in terms of narrative structure. I thought in my head, okay, we know who he is. We know that he's swearing people to secrecy about his presence. He's very adamant that nobody speak about him and nobody reveals who he is. Only for us to then find him in the middle of this city walking amongst humans as if he belongs with a family, which was a complete and utter mind fuck for me, quite honestly, because I did posit if it was a potential plot point that we would come across, that demons could infiltrate with humans and sort of pull the wool over their eyes and masquerade as a human. So this was kind of something that I had sort of wrestled with the idea, but to see it and know that that's exactly what he's doing is insane, because he is pulling strings. He's like the ultimate puppet master. He knows that Tanjiro can't touch him. But not only that, he's also using this little girl as a human shield in a way. Tanjiro can't get to him because to get to him, he has to go through this little girl. He's not going to do that. He's not going to harm an innocent. But at the same time, he also can't go for him because he has no evidence to prove to all those watching that he is actually a demon. Now there's an actual demon attacking people. He has to make that his focus, and likely whilst he's making that his focus, Muzan is going to use that as a chance to maybe slip away in the guise of getting his family to safety. Also, Tanjiro left Nezuko behind, and yeah, we got a glimpse that Nezuko has more of his blood than any other demon has received. So it either has gone one of two ways. It's either that he saw something in Nezuko and gave her more of that blood, or Nezuko fought him and by accident got most of his blood in her system through fighting him. Maybe she drew his blood and that entered into her wounds because she was outside of the door. So she was either making an escape or she was trying to protect her family and she was trying to prevent him from gaining access. So we know that she carries her little brother around. So what if he stumbled across them before he even got into the house to attack the family? And she didn't have time to get her younger brother to safety. So she tried to physically fight him, tried to stop him at all costs. And in the process of physically fighting him, maybe drew blood, and his blood then mingled with the wounds that he caused on her, leading to a bigger increase of his blood being given to her versus him actually turning people into demons. Because if he's turning them, it doesn't seem like he gives them a lot, but if he's giving Nazuko a lot, it may not be intentional. It may be something that he accidentally did and couldn't have foresawn would result in Nazuko becoming strong and a potential challenge to him, because if she's embodied this strength, it makes you wonder, has she inherited any other powers from him that she could then use in the battle against him in the future? And I'm loving this show so much. We're going to get into episode 8. Oh, the music though. Oh, that music was so good though. Oh! Like, stop! She's very lucky.
この人は誰も殺していない。大丈夫かい？見ちゃいけないよ。レイさん、危険だ。向こうへ行こう。あいつは。
I said that he was going to use this as a distraction, but it's crazy because he's acting like a loving husband, a loving father, whilst he's the reason this happened. Oh, Tanjiro, he's choosing his duty.
この人を放ってはいけない。
But he knows that.
俺はお前を逃がさない。どこ行こうと絶対に。
I'll find you.
どうしたのかしら、あの子。
どこ行こうと逃がさない。地獄の果てまで追いかけて、必ずお前の首に刃を振る。絶対にお前を許さない。
Good. You don't need to forgive him. Is it a drunk? Do they not know about demons? Because they're like, is it a drunk?
俺以外はこの人を抑えられない。オーケー。やめてください。この人に誰も殺させたくないんだ。邪魔をしないでくれ。お願いだから。これ以上抵抗するようなら。
ワクチ、視覚、無限の子。
なんだ、この香りは。
Whoa, 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 whoa. Enchanting blood? Is this a demon?
何かの攻撃か。
But I don't think they know about demons because everyone seems really confused as to what he's doing and why he's doing this.
鬼となった者にも、人という言葉を使ってくださるのですね。そして助けようとしている。ならば私もあなたを手助けしましょう。
あなたは、あなたの匂いは。
そう、私は
A demon.
鬼ですが医者でもあり、あの男、鬼物児を抹殺したいと思っている。
So we're gonna get demons that are completely against Muzan. I did again posit if we were gonna get demons that weren't man-eaters, that were maybe more like Nazuko.
大丈夫。警官に尋ねるだけですから。さ、乗って。
お父さん、早く帰ってきてね。
ええ、いい子にしておいで。
Where are you going? Are you actually going to speak to the police? Because I press X to doubt.
やっちゃん、大丈夫かい？
俺はまだ酔っ払っ
He's gonna create more, isn't
なんだ
he?
てめえすみません
No?
おいおいずいぶんいい服着てやがるなお前
Oh, this isn't gonna go well.
ああ、おじろい顔しやがってよ今にも死にそうだな
Oh, we didn't like that. Oh!
つー
Ah! I see where Nazuko gets her strength from. Holy shit.
私の顔色は悪く見えるか私の顔は青白いか
What the
病
fuck?
弱に見えるか死にそうに見えるか
Oh, he doesn't like this idea that he doesn't belong.
私は限りなく完璧に近い生物だ私の血を大量に与え続けるとどうなると思う
What the fuck is going on?
体は変動の速度に耐えきれず細胞が壊れる
Oh my god, this is horrific. Why was her death more gruesome than the other two? She didn't do anything. I guess that just goes to show his cruelty.
耳に花札のような飾りをつけた鬼狩りの首を持ってこ
Like a little gangster, isn't he? He has demons under his command. But he really didn't like this idea of him not being long for this world.
あの耳飾り
Is this Tanjiro's ancestor? And that's where the red hair originates from? Like a lineage?
俺のうどんを食わねえって心づもりだとか許せねえのさすみませんもう一杯お願いします
He's passionate.
はい食うんだな食べますお前もだまずうどんを食べるならその竹を外せなんだそ
She
の竹
can't.
は箸を持て箸を2杯お願いしますおお
I'm gonna prove to you that I like it.
ごちそうさまでした美味しかったです
It does look delicious.
ないだね
I like udon.
どうしたねずこ。お
No, they're friends. It's the hypnosis, but they're friends. She's like, all demons are enemies, but they've not harmed humans, so.
目くらましの術をかけている場所にいるんだ。たどれるものか。鬼じゃないかその女は。しかも仕込めだ。
And I saw. What?
醜いってことか誰が
He's about to throw hands.
ねずこ仕込めのはずないだろよく見てみろこの顔立ちよ
Is it because she has more of his
ねずこは
blood? Muzan's blood?
仕込めは違うだろ絶対
He's like, she is beautiful. How dare you?
ちょっとあっちの方で
Take it back. What a good big brother. I love
そう
him.
かわかったこの口稼だなこれを外したねずこを一度見てもらいたい
She's not an eyesore. She's gorgeous.
行き止まりの向こうに屋敷が
早く来い。俺はお前たちなどどうなったっていいんだ。それをあの方がどうしてもと言うから連れてきたんだ。
Oh, he's spicy.
ご主人は気の毒ですが、拘束して地下牢に。
人の怪我の手当てをして辛くないですか鬼の俺たちが血肉の匂いによだれを垂らして耐えながら人間の治療をしているとでも。ごめん。
吉
There's
さん
still so much
な
that you
ぜ
don't
暴力
know.
を振るうの？その子はユシロ。仲良くしてやってくださいね。
無理だなこれは。
辛くはないですよ。
He's angsty.
普通の鬼よりかなり楽かと思います。私は私の体を随分いじって
呪いが体をいじった。
So the curse is what makes them man-eaters that desire to consume humans.
私たちは人を食らうことなく暮らしていけるようにしました。
So can she do the same for
人の血
Nazuko?
を少量飲むだけで事足りる。不快に思われるかもしれませんが、金銭に余裕のない方から輸血と称して血を買っています。もちろん彼らの体に支障が出ない量です。
そうか。この
That's
人たちから
admirable.
鬼特有の異臭がしない理由はそれなんだ。
But they don't want to harm humans in the process.
ユシローはもっと少量の血で足ります。
But Nazuko doesn't even need blood.
え、あなたがですか？でも
What is she doing?
そうですね。200年以上かかって鬼にできたのはユシローただ一人ですから。
Again, I did question whether other people could turn humans into demons.
玉代さんは何歳ですか？
Old.
女性に
Also rude.
ユシロー、次にその子を殴ったら許しませんよ。
はい。怒った顔も美しい。
Oh, that's why he sees Nazuko as an eyesore, because nobody will compare to her.
私は鬼を増やそうとはしていません。不治の病や怪我などを負って余命いくばくもない人にしかその処置はしません。
Was that his case?
鬼となっても生きながらえたいか尋ねてからします。
嘘偽りのない清らかな匂いがする。この人は信用できる。鬼になってしまった人を人に戻す方法はありますか？
I still think the only person that will know that information is Muzan. Oh, whoa.
見えるぞ足跡。
Oh my god, it's giving directions. Crazy.
あちらをぐるりと覆う。
Whoa.
どうやって殺そうかの。
I wonder what she can do.
力がみなぎる。あのお方に血を分けていただいたおかげじゃ。鬼を人に戻す方法はあり
She's
ます。
so happy.
教えてください。やろうとするな、玉代様に。
God.
ユシロー、
She's like, I warned you.
投げたのです、玉代様。殴ってません。
It's like, I didn't hit him though. There's a loophole.
今の時点で鬼を人に戻すことはできませんが、ですが
Doesn't mean it's
私たちは
hopeless.
必ずその治療法を確立させたいと思っています。治療薬を作るためにはたくさんの鬼の血を調べる必要があります。
Oh, she wants him to bring demons here.
一つ、妹さんの血を調べさせてほしい。二つ、できる限り鬼仏寺の血が
Oh,
濃い
he's
みたい
getting a
に
new
血液を採取して
adventure.
きてほしい。禰豆子さんは今極めて稀で特殊な状態です。通常それほど長い間人の血肉や獣の肉を口にできなければまず間違いなく凶暴化します。
Where she
玉代
hasn't.
様は
しかし驚くべきことに禰豆子さんにはその症状がない。
Oh.
もう一つの願いは過酷なものになる。
She's so cute.
鬼仏寺の血が濃い鬼とはすなわち鬼仏寺により近い強さを持つ鬼ということです。
So kind of like his subordinates that are tracking them down. Because they said that they've got quite a bit of his blood. So they're quite strong.
それ以外に道がなければ俺はやります。
Of course he's
玉
going
代
to
さん
do
がた
it.
くさんの鬼の血を調べて薬を作ってくれるなら、
It's for his sister.
そうすれば禰豆子だけじゃなくもっとたくさんの人が助かりますよね。
Oh, Tanjiro, I love you. You're such a good boy.
おお
Growling like a little dog. Whoa! Whoa! I love that they both protected the people they care most about.
仕方は決まったか？
残酷にだろ
the show is rife with cliffhangers. It gets so good, and then it's like, nah, over. Oh, I want to know more. I want to see what happens next. God's sake.
今日はいきなり大正こそこそ噂話。ゆしろうさんは玉代様に気をつけるのが趣味。1日で7枚から10枚くらい書いているらし
It's
い
a
ですよ。
journal just about
その
her.
日記を見つけてしまった。少し読んでみようか。このお声が美しい。
Oh, he
17
loves
時
her.
29
He's
分、玉代様
besotted.
が考え事をしていて段差につまずいた時。次回第9話、手まり鬼と矢
I
印鬼
take it
これは見なかったことにしよう。
she maybe revealed something to him that she shouldn't have revealed, or that it was a little scandalous and he didn't want to read it aloud. But I did question whether everyone was going to be like Muzan, and here we are. We have two demons that are not like him at all. We have Tamayo, probably butchering that, do apologize, who after 200 years was able to transform someone into a demon. And she mentions that she only ever has done it for those that are terminally ill or grievously wounded and will die. So she gives them the opportunity to continue to live on, but she doesn't do it against their will. It's always their choice. She asks them and they consented. And I think, in a way, Tanjiro finds admiration in that. There's purpose in it. She's trying to help those that have no other way. But at the same time, she's also been working on the removal of the curse so that she doesn't need to rely upon consuming humans for energy. And that in itself is so beneficial for any demon she comes across, because she's able to remove that curse. She's able to make it so that they only need a bit of human blood in order to satisfy their urges. And it shows the level of strength and her character, that even though she was going through this curse, she was still able to devise ways to overcome it. Her mental fortitude allowed her to still find a sense of purpose. And she dedicates herself to not only trying to help other demons, but also to helping humanity as a whole. So she was a doctor before she was turned. And I wonder if it's connected to Muzan, because Muzan doesn't like the idea of people commenting on his complexion, that he's near to death's door, that he's unnaturally pale, because there seems to be almost this egotistical, I'm as close to perfection as a human can be. How dare you look down on me? But it makes me wonder, is it tied to maybe him feeling cast out, that he's never felt like he's quite belonged, and that's led to him almost having this disdain for humanity and for the people around him. But also it posits the question of, was Muzan always a demon, or did somebody make Muzan a demon? How did Muzan become a demon? Or was he always that way? And if he was always that way, surely there would be others like him. There's still so many questions as to the world building and how it's going to work with the narrative, because obviously we don't really know much about Muzan, but we had that image of a tall figure with the same earrings as Tanjiro, the same red hair as Tanjiro, and I believe their sword was also black. And we know that the black sword was unique, but also the red hair is in itself also unique, because it was commented on by the swordsmith that made his katana. So I'm wondering if that's like an ancestor. I don't think it could be his dad. At first, I was like, could that be his dad? And I'm like, that's actually quite foolish, because Muzan's quite old. So if he made her into a demon, Tamayo, and she's like older than 200 years, was it's taken her 200 years to figure out how to make a demon, implying that she's older than that, then whoever was confronting Muzan was likely way before that time, because that was likely when Muzan wasn't even at his full strength. Because if Muzan can be cornered like that by a demon slayer, then Muzan clearly was not as strong as they are now. They were still maybe like a fledgling demon that they were still learning their strength and capabilities. But I don't know if it's tied to Tamayo, like, as in, maybe he made her a demon when he was still in his fledgling years because she was tending to him, that he was this weak, sickly child who became a demon and then maybe turned her somehow, like lashed out at her. I'm not entirely sure, but I feel like it has to be connected somehow. This whole connotation of him getting angry at the idea of his complexion being mentioned. And again, it's either because he was made into a demon and he was sick and weak and ill before he became a demon, and that in becoming a demon it granted him the strength and vigor that he would never have in his human life, hence why he gets angry at anyone thinking he still looks sick and weak and ill, because that's what he's tried to move away from. He's tried to forget that. But then with her being a doctor and also being significantly older, I wonder if she's like either the first or one of the first that Muzan turned into a demon. But she also has like a lot of resentment for him because she is actively working against him. She wants him to be brought down. She doesn't want to become another mindless monster under his control. But we also have the two subordinates to Muzan who they mentioned having quite a bit of his blood, so they're exceptionally skilled and strong. I wonder if they function in a similar way, that they also need to overly consume humans in order to survive. I'm not entirely sure, but I want to know more about Tamayo and her backstory and how it maybe connects with Muzan, because yeah, he was not happy at the comments of his appearance. And it's either egotism, it's either I am so much better than humans, so how dare you think you're better than I am, and how dare you think that you can comment on my appearance? I'm so much more superior than you. Or it's because that maybe Muzan was not always a demon, but was made into a demon by somebody else, which I'm not sure how that would work, because then it would mean that there was someone else that was capable of turning humans into demons. Which is still the potentiality, because we only know that Muzan is technically the father of all demons that we're seeing because he's turning them all. But it doesn't mean that there wasn't somebody that turned Muzan into a demon. Until we know more, we won't officially know. But it could be tied to him being this sick, weakly young man that was maybe looked down on for that and saw becoming a demon as his opportunity. And to still have people remind him of that kind of strikes a chord in him, because it ties back to that memory he's tried to forget, and that's why he lashes out. But that figure he was against is clearly an ancestor of Tanjiro. It has to be, because why were the earrings passed down? And I'm sure we'll probably find that the earrings were like passed down from father to son to son to son to son, that like it'll be the firstborn son inherits them. So Tanjiro was the firstborn son, and the red hair is quite unique because his father also had red hair, so we know it's from the father's side. So the patrilineal line could already descend and be connected to demon slayers, unless they're doing the whole concept of reincarnation where his soul could have been tied to somebody else's in the past, that someone's reincarnated into Tanjiro and that their souls are connected, because we know that he's spiritually aware and spiritually connected to the world around him. But I don't think they're going the reincarnation route. I think what they're doing is showing that it's very much in Tanjiro's blood and family history, this propensity for hunting demons, which is probably why his sense of smell is so good, and it's likely been passed down as well from the generational line. Yurikadaki was also exceptionally good at smelling scents around him. So it is not unique to Tanjiro, but it could be something that's passed genetically in the family line. We don't know. This has been very, very fascinating, though. There's a lot of really good world building with the show. And I think what I enjoy the most is there's so many questions still. So it gives you little tidbits here and there, but it doesn't give you all the answers. So it still leaves you kind of guessing whilst it fleshes out the world more around you. Especially when Tanjiro has that guy like pinned down and the police arrive. They don't think he's a demon. They don't even mention demons. So it's presenting this idea that no one actually knows about demons. So I wonder if in the cities, they haven't actually told them about demons because maybe they're not as rife in the cities, or maybe they cover it up and that they say it's like murder or a random accident that happened in city life because city life is, busy, it's hustle and bustle, and you're more likely to see, serial killers and high rates of murder in cities versus rural landscapes. So it could just be this contrast between like the city and the country. In the country, if people start going missing or something starts happening, you're more likely to lean on mythology and this concept of monsters rather than a serial killer, rather than it being a human that's doing it. Whereas in the city, it's more modernized, it's more tied to urban development. So you have this idea that likely they either don't know about demons and therefore they're unaware because they've left that behind in any demon attacks they come across. They chalk it up to being a casualty of the city, that somebody has just got on the wrong side of someone else. Or they know the higher ups, but they're covering it up. They're not revealing that information. That maybe they're aware of it, but they're not informing the general populace because they don't want to incite panic or fear. But it is very evident the contrast between the rural culture that Tanjiro has come from, where demons are openly talked about. The concept of demon slayers isn't a myth, like it's a known fact, versus the city where this is a drunk, this is somebody acting up. And when Tanjiro is saying, no, I can't get off him, he'll kill people, he's laughed at in a way and he's threatened with being detained because he's resisting arrest. And it's only because of Tamayo's intervention that they're able to get this demon away and he isn't able to attack anyone else. She uses this illusionary blood art magic to deceive and hide them from view because we know that her house is behind like an illusionary wall. So it posits that she's good at illusion. She's good at making the general population believe what she wants them to believe. So that gives them the opportunity to get away. So yeah, it does seem like demons aren't a widely known thing, that they're not widely talked about. But why? It's the question, especially because it is so commonly known in the country. But I just love that we get that like contrast between urban and rural, this idea that the concept of demons is still very much alive and talked about, and the people are aware of it and they know of the dangers. They don't walk out at night. They're constantly aware of the threat that demons present to them and their families, whereas in the city, that has kind of been left behind, which you could just chalk it up to, again, this urban development that people, as they become more modernized, begin to leave behind the myths of their ancestors and the generation before them because they see it as nothing more than myths rather than it actually being a reality, because all myths are somewhat rooted in reality. So it's, in a way, the rural countryside that Tanjiro comes from is still very much at home with its roots and very much connected to its culture and history, and that it's passed on from generation to generation and still retained. Whereas the city is almost divested from that because the city is focused on development and progression and modernization, that they see that as remnants of the past. So you're getting these contrasting ideologies and this difference between perspectives. And we saw that in the last episode when Tanjiro was really overwhelmed by the city and the lights and the noise and hustle and bustle, because this isn't what he's used to. But we're now seeing how it conflicts in terms of the mentality that they're not aware of something that is so culturally ingrained in the rural countryside. And again, it has to be either something that's being covered up or they're just living in ignorance. But I am so excited to see the next episode to learn more about Tamayo and also Muzan, because again, just the little glimpses we're getting that he might have personal beef with Tanjiro's family. Oh, what if? Question. Don't answer this, obviously. It's just a theory I'm positing right now because we've seen that little flashback to the figure with the red hair and the earrings that Tanjiro has and very much likely is an ancestor of Tanjiro. What if Muzan has like personal beef with Tanjiro's family, his ancestral line, and that his attack on Tanjiro's family home wasn't merely random, it was intentional. It was wanting to wipe out that family line in general because he saw that it could be a potential threat to him because of how powerful the family is. Therefore, he wants to get rid of them entirely just in case. Because that would make more sense as to why he was randomly there. Because why would he leave the city to go to the countryside where Tanjiro's family is? It seems very odd. So I'm wondering if it is personal, if it's beef with the ancestral line, because we know that demons are petty individuals. The Morph demon held on to that pettiness towards Urikadaki and targeted all of his students going forward. It didn't matter how long time had gone by, he still held on to that anger and need for revenge. So it would also make sense if Muzan is also equally as petty. But it also has me wondering if there's something in Tanjiro's family line, like a power or an ability in the blood, that makes Muzan very cautious of him and aware of him. Because when he's threatening Muzan, Muzan's not laughing it off like you would expect someone who's as powerful as he is to do. He's taking it seriously. Like he knows that he's out for business. And I think it's because he recognizes, or at least maybe senses, that he descends from that line. And therefore, he knows that what he's saying is true. That what he's threatening him is something that he will die on the hill of defending and upholding, that he will not give up. He is stubborn to the core. Going to be very fascinating. And once again, Tanjiro is just a sweet boy, very sweet boy, willing to do whatever he can to help those in need and to help protect his little sister, even going as far as to have personal beef because someone didn't think she was pretty. It's not that he doesn't think she's pretty, she's just not as pretty in his eyes as Tomoya because he only has eyes for her. And that's kind of sweet. I want to know more about their dynamic and how that works, but she clearly sees him almost as like a son. You know, she's lecturing him to not hit Tanjiro, that he needs to respect him and she wants them to be friends. So, you know, she obviously sees him as maybe a de facto child, a son, but he's very respectful, like calls her ma'am, very polite. So he has an infatuation with her, which could be maybe tied to this idea that she saved his life. If he was one of these terminally ill or grievously wounded that she's come across, it could be that he feels indebted to her, and that's kind of led to this rose tinted glasses in relation to her, that she can do no wrong. She is perfection, and therefore no one else can compare. And it's not that Natsuko's not pretty, it's just when it comes to Tamayo, he's not going to acknowledge that because there's only one woman for him, there's only one beauty for him, and that's Tamayo. But thank you so, so much for watching. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next episode, bye!